Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network podcast. I am your host, Anthony Ragucci, and this is Replay, Relive, and Reexperience, or as we like to call it, Re3s, where we do all three of those things to our favorite video games. That kind of sounded sexual, but I'm going to keep it rolling. In this edition of Re3, we'll be replaying, reliving, and re-experiencing Halo. The entire franchise, starting with Halo Combat Evolved and ending with Halo 5 Guardians in anticipation for Halo Infinite. Here to go on Master Chief Saga with me, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trejo.
Gooch. How are you?
I'm okay.
Good. I didn't finish my sentence.
No, I know. I was waiting.
It dropped off, and I was like, oh, yeah, how are you?
No, but that's how we usually do it. We space it out.
Yeah, give it a little...
And here to accompany us, I want to say as always, but that's not necessarily true.
It will be for this.
Well, for this.
Yeah,
series,
for this.
It will be.
Yeah. Chris Geddes.
Hello,
Delco
hello.
Zone.
Welcome.
Hi.
Episode 2. Here we are. We're not even
Back at
in.
it again.
We're not even in thick of it. But we will be. So we are picking up this episode with Halo, like the level. Not like, but also
The
Halo.
game.
So mission 2 of Halo is called Halo. The synopsis. Halo is the second campaign level of this game. It begins on the morning of September 19th, 2552, and gives us the first on-the-ground view of Installation 4, a.k.a. Alpha Halo, a.k.a. Halo.
It was probably still morning during the first level,
Yes.
I guess.
As the only survivor of the Bumblebee escape pod crash, Spartan 117 fights against the marauding Covenant forces while searching and rescuing other survivors from the Pillar of Autumn. This is the first level with Jackals, Spear Dropships, and Banshees, which we will talk about. So, first time on a Halo ring. We get out of that pod.
And you look around and you
How you guys
wow.
feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling like I'm ready to kill some Covenant.
Yeah, kill some more
scum.
Covenant. Yeah.
Which you do. And I mean, most of this level is just going from place to place, killing more Covenant, which is fine.
Mhm.
And I will say, getting through some of this stuff was a little bit of a chore.
Yeah.
But I did start to kind of open back up to it, and you know, there's so many good things just in the way. Like, it's not necessarily the gameplay, but like sound design in this game is amazing. Hearing
Yeah.
all the different guns, all
The
these
music.
very
I
specific
mean, where would it be without the
music.
music?
One da 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 da. Like
So
it's
true.
so it's just that guitar riff. You can't beat it.
Like seriously, I think everything in this game, like all the guns, all the vehicles are like iconic. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like every gun, every vehicle.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like most of the levels, I feel like this game just has some like iconic.
And aside
all
from
over
some
the place.
design, they really haven't changed much.
No, they really
since 2001.
Right. Yeah. It worked. Why change
Why
it?
change it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we get out.
If it ain't broke.
And we see the skybox of the Halo ring, and you've never seen a skybox like this before, where the ring is just going around the whole thing. It's
a sight.
It gives you a little like it gives you goosebumps once you come out and you look at it, and you're like, whoa, like this is an alien
Huge.
world. Like
Yeah.
this ain't Earth. This is like nothing we've ever been to. Like you and Master Chief, like, you know, this is the first contact with the Halo ring for the player and the people in game. So it should kind of
Pretty
feel.
iconic. It's an iconic moment.
It
Absolutely,
should feel
yeah.
alien.
Yeah.
So we are exiting the Bumblebee ship. Let's talk about the Bumblebee. We're not getting in it. We're getting out of it, which is ironic.
I mean, it's basically just an escape pod, right?
Yeah.
For the most part.
yeah,
does
pretty
its
much.
job.
This is the Class 3 enclosed heavy lifeboat controlled. I don't know why it's just controlled like that. Also known as the Bumblebee, is a standard issue UNSC escape pod, which is 10.5 meters long, making it longer than a Scorpion.
It's still
I don't
blows
know.
my mind.
In
That's
game,
not-
that
yeah,
is
there's
not. That
no
does
way.
not seem like
There's
the
no
case.
way.
No, that's not true.
It can hold up to 9 people, including the pilot, and has enough supplies to last for a week before it runs out of food and clean air. So
I think they'd give them a little bit more than a week.
Yeah, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. You're in a life pod. It's
That's
not,
fair.
It's
It's
not
usually- it's
supposed
probably
to
like
sustain
I guess
you.
the idea is, yeah, they'd send someone out to help you right away almost. Yeah.
The Bumblebee only makes an appearance in this level and a Pillar of Autumn. Never seen it again in the series. This
Yeah.
is it. So say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
The name Bumblebee may have been given because of the nature of the craft. When the craft hits the surface, it will most likely not be able to function again, very much like how a bee uses a stinger and dies. Very morbid.
Makes sense. Very,
very
astute.
morbid.
So
Yeah.
we're running away from the crash site, and as we kind of get moving, a Covenant entourage kind of, I was gonna say, like pulls up like it's a fucking like shootout.
Hey, yo.
Yo, freeze!
What's going on here?
But it's a Spirit dropship and a Banshee patrol. So let's talk about the Spirit. The Dextro Zur pattern troop carrier designated by the UNSC as Type 25 troop carrier, otherwise known as Spirit, is a Covenant infantry and logistic transport. I don't know why I did that.
I bet that sounds nice.
Yeah, I bet.
Is a transport craft. It is actually never named in game.
Which
They
is
never call it the Spirit. But like in the later games, they just call the Phantom like left and right. Like Phantom inbound. In this, it's Covenant dropship.
Yeah.
Like I'm curious if they just like didn't name it until like after the script was written.
Honestly, it's probably it. They probably were just like, it's the Covenant dropship.
So-
And then now it's been retroactively. Yes, continue.
The Spirit is jokingly known as the tuning fork among the Bungie employees because of its shape, and the Marines in this level make a reference to that. The Marathon logo is seen on the front of the cockpit. That's our first Marathon reference.
Well, second. The first one is
keys
on
is
his pin in the old graphics.
Yeah. In these games, sorry. Spirits appear in Halo Combat Evolved, Wars, and Reach as the primary dropship. They do not make any appearance in 2, 3, or ODST, and have been replaced by the sleeker, larger, heavier, and faster. It's like just beating this guy out like on all angles.
Speaking of Reach, wasn't there a an Easter egg where you could like pilot, or maybe it was like a glitch, you could pilot like a Pelican or a Phantom?
Pelican.
Was
It's
the
an
Pelican?
achievement in
Oh, is it an achievement?
It's an achievement in the Master Chief Collection. All you have to do is like crouch near it and like get in.
Yeah.
And you can like get in the gun and you use the gun. So it's a way to like
Interesting.
one, it's an achievement, but like you are invulnerable and you just mow people down.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was reading and it's like a good like strategy to do like lasso in and
Oh
legendary.
yeah, really.
But the ship also appears in most of the novels: Fall of Reach, The Flood, First Strike, Ghost of Onyx, Contact Harvest, and a graphic novel. It's not specifically known why the Spirit was removed from Halo 2 and 3. However, it could be just the Phantom was in the process of replacing its newer model, or the Bungie just preferred the Phantom. I would probably just say
The
they
latter.
preferred the Phantom.
Yeah, the latter.
And they just
definitely.
replaced it.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Next, we take the fight to a beam emitter, which is this like kind of like building that shoots like beams across the Halo ring. I assume it's just for like
power it
energy,
or
power
something.
information. Yeah, like there's got to be a way for, I guess, one point of the ring to shoot information across to the other.
If you stand in it, you die.
Really?
Yeah, if you will die.
I don't think I knew
Wouldn't
that.
have known that.
Did you actually try?
Of course. You gotta.
Why wouldn't he? Come on.
Someone's got to try it.
I don't know. We're getting all of our information online here, so I figured you might have picked it up. So at this beam emitter, there are some Marines, including our boy
The man.
Sergeant Johnson.
The myth.
Damn right. Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
Sergeant Johnson. Sergeant Major Avery Jr. Johnson was a human senior non-commissioned officer who served in the UNSC Marine Corps during the Insurrection and Human Covenant War.
His middle name's Junior?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Nice.
sick.
Awesome.
Johnson was a highly trained Marine serving with various combat units, including the Naval Special Warfare Command, including the highly classified Orion Project. Now you're probably wondering, Gooch, what is the Orion Project?
What is the Orion Project?
The Orion Project is the Spartan 1 project. So
Interessante.
during the insurrection, before Spartan 2s were kind of actually like a fully fledged project and fully funded, Halsey was developing a super soldier serum kind of John, and there weren't many candidates. Johnson happened to be one of them, and it like the whole project like pretty much fails. But Johnson, and I think a lot of them die too, but Johnson's one of the one that comes out alive. And for that reason, he is immune to the flood.
A big butt.
We
Did
have
they ever explain that at all, like in the original game? Like, is that
like
or,
why?
Like
No.
that
No, it's not.
He
No.
just happens to survive, or as far as you know, like within the first game, like from the flood, you don't know. They don't let you know. That
I mean, he can die, but
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
But
it's
like,
like-
Yeah, I mean,
can't
he
be
dies all the
infected,
time.
like-
yeah, you can kill him. I mean, he'll
so
just
like
come
the
back.
other Marines can, like the flood is like a. I guess we'll get into that when that comes. Along. But
Yeah. Because of
won't get ahead of myself.
Yeah, because of this experimentation, that's what causes him to be immune to the flood. But it's interesting because no one else is immune to the flood. Not
Absolutely.
even Master Chief.
Not even Chief,
technically.
yeah.
Oh, he's not.
No,
I don't think so, no.
He's a regular human.
No, I know, but
he's
I just would have
advanced.
assumed that
Actually-
the Spartan serum would have done that.
That's a good question. I'm gonna say he's not. He can get killed by them.
Yeah, but again, I feel like you could get killed by, but like it's not like he's getting killed by the flood disease. He's just being killed by these monsters ripping him apart.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? It's not like
I'm curious if it's written anywhere. I would say no.
interesting. I don't like him anymore. No.
During this fight, we encounter the jackals for the first time. The Kig-Yar are an avian reptilian species which served the Covenant as mercenaries and privateers. There are two distinct subgroups of Kig-Yar, which humans have termed jackals and skirmishers. Skirmishers and Reach, we'll talk about them then. In combat, Kig-Yar are typically serve as snipers, shock troopers, defense fighters, and scouts within the Covenant due to their excellent sense of sight, smell, and hearing. Some trivia. The Kig-Yar were the first Covenant species fought by humans. Johnson and a Marine named Nolan Brine fought and killed two of them, led by Churaya in the skirmish on minor transgression over harvest. The first time Kig-Yar encountered in the game is in this level. They do not appear in the first level due to the Covenant's mistrust of them being on Jesus Christ, enemy vessels because of their pirating ways, which I find to be very interesting.
That's super cool.
Like
We
that's
don't
a
trust you fuckers.
They're just gonna take the Pillar of Autumn and take a
and I'm trying
joyride.
to think. I'm like, what we're on the Infinity, but that's not at that point. The Covenant isn't the normal Covenant. It's a offshoot version of it. Yeah, because I'm trying to think of like other times that would have been a thing, but it's like maybe they just like wrote that in to explain why they're not in the first level, or maybe they actually intended it that way. It's a pretty cool fun fact because I didn't know it until research. So we have a little battle, we fight, and we meet the legendary Foehammer herself.
You know our motto, we deliver.
Carol Rowley was the pilot of the Pelican transport Echo 419 on the UNSC Pillar of Autumn. Some trivia, the call sign Foehammer comes to us from the 14th level of Marathon Infinity, another Marathon reference. Foehammer is also a literal translation of Gandalf's sword from Lord of the Rings, and it's also a name of a dragon-slaying arrow in Stephen King's The Eyes of Dragon. Little information about the Pelican. The dropship 77 troop carrier, abbreviated D-77TC, or commonly known as the Pelican, is an extremely versatile aircraft used by the UNSC. It's used for mainly medium lift operations of various personnel, vehicles, and equipment, and it can be used as a powerful support gunship. The Pelican is also capable of limited spaceflight, which the UNSC uses as a primary method of rapidly delivering troops to the surface from orbit. And Foehammer, nice as she is, drops us off a Warthog for the first time. The M12 Force Application Vehicle, more commonly known as the Warthog, or simply Hawk, was a line.
Or the Puma. I'm gonna bring up the red versus blue stuff again.
Okay. Was a line of the United Nations Space Command light ground vehicle. So there's a number of variants. We only counter the one with the gun. It does. It actually does. Yeah. Like I was thinking about that. Like it has like its winch on the front and like they come out.
It would have been interesting to use that at some point, you know.
Yeah, no, you never really do in any of the games, don't you?
No. Nope. The UNSC's primary ground vehicle, used for its scouting and reconnaissance capacity or as an integral part of a mechanized infantry unit, the M12 has been a part of the UNSC's armored vehicle fleet for almost 200 years. Do we still run the Sherman tank? No. So that would be like if we just always had the Sherman tank.
Like there was no need for us to advance any further than that.
The Abrams, I think, is the current line of United States tanks. But like that's interesting.
Oh, it is.
Imagine
an
like and like we have never maybe the M1911 like that's still that's not. I don't
because I mean even think it's
that's
only
not
like,
standard issue in the military though. But
we're still talking about the Pelican, right?
Warthog.
Okay. But like even still like stuff like that, like I don't know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, like that type of deal. Like I think the idea would be like, and even with the like, does it say how long the Pelican was even like around at all?
Nah, it doesn't mention it. I think it's just because this was a really long time.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I don't know. That's interesting. I guess it's like one of those things.
It works,
and there's no need. Yeah, there's probably
we'll just
no
put
reason
some
to develop
we'll just
technology.
make it cooler and
Give it different attachments. Yeah, different guns.
And you'd assume that they improved it somehow all those years over.
Like with
just
like cars.
Like exactly.
Yeah. So we drive off. We're gonna go look for some escape pods.
You can bring Johnson with you. There's a way to like if you block him off. There's a way to like get him in your Warthog.
Oh, really?
And you can bring him through the mission.
Usually he just dies at that point.
Yeah, he's usually either
and
dead
then
or
respawns at another fucking pod.
And you're just like, wait,
Johnson just disappears and reappears in this whole series.
He looks really weird in the upgrade
upgrade,
version.
I
He
was
almost
just
looks
thinking
like
that too.
white.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this, like it's so weird.
Yeah.
Really?
Like,
Yeah, his
yeah.
skin-
If you look at him, the skin color is very weird.
Like I looked at him like dead on the ground, you know.
I looked at his dead corpse. He wasn't just pale in the face.
No, it was like I don't even know how to describe. It just was weird. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you have to look next time.
So we're driving away and we drive into this huge cave, and it's kind of good to note that Cortana mentions the caves of the ring world were built and they're not natural. This kind of brings into the fact that Halo is obviously man-made and it's made by the Forerunners. We're gonna find that out later, but yeah, all this shit on Halo like kind of has a purpose and a design and is built to like sustain life and do certain functions on the ring. I heard that, I think you had mentioned it to me before in a Discord conversation, that cave was actually a cave at some point. That's why she calls it a cave.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a cave, but then they like cut it and made it more
Like just a
open.
giant fucking
Yeah, they just kept the
hole.
dialogue because I guess they were like, let's.
And that's also where we run into a terminal.
Yeah, the terminal's down there. Yeah.
Keeper of the terminals, please lay it out for us. What is
Alrighty, this
terminal?
one, this is a big one. This is right before the light bridge, before you make that jump. It opens with 343 Guilty Spark flying through space and entering the Ark. We'll talk more about the Ark and what it is later on. He says he's experiencing anticipation and dread. States that all of his preparations are complete for his new installation, 04. He enters a dimly lit hallway, and then he states that he has released himself of all remaining connections to his former station. Weird. I had no idea that they just kept. There must have been something beforehand. I guess we'll figure that out later.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily means it was like a Halo ring.
Yeah, it could have been something
Like, yeah, another Forerunner thing.
But then this is when you get into you see he enters a big room with 6 other monitors that are there. You see Forerunner doctors, life workers, they're called. You'll see all of them, and they mention the domain. He says, we have no contact with the domain, so basically they have no knowledge of the Forerunners, and people have no knowledge of what they are, who they are even.
Are the life workers humans or no?
I think they're Forerunner.
Okay.
I believe that they were the one of the
That's
main.
jumping the gun into Halo 4, but
Yeah. They were like the doctors. They specialized in medicine, study of life in all its forms, including experimenting with new forms of life. Weird.
like the Flood.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But yeah, basically they say that we have no contact with the domain, which is their collective intelligence, the Forerunners' collective intelligence. He gets into a conversation with Monitor 049, Abstract Testament, where
I love the monitor names. They're very cool.
he states that they deserve to be forgotten. And, Guilty Spark says, perhaps. And then at the end, a large portal opens up and he sees Halo. He says, now the portal is open and through it, the familiar shape awaits. Halo, home. Which kind of brings me back to the beginning where the familiar shape, which is like his old installation. So I guess that
yeah.
could have been,
Good point.
must have been a Halo.
I mean, there's only 7, right?
Yeah.
We only know of, I think, 3. Delta, Alpha, and a Halo Infinite is on a new Halo ring, I think. I don't think we really know, but anyway. Yeah, cool information. And these terminals are added in the anniversary edition. So if
And they're animated.
Aren't they? They're not. They don't exist in the original game at all.
Nope. No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't
Yeah.
think skulls were in there either.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't think the skulls were in the
You sure?
original. I don't know. You know what? Let me fact check myself.
Okay.
I thought they were added.
While you're doing that, I'll go on because you mentioned the bridge, that light bridge. We get to the light bridge and we find 2 new weapons. One is the Needler and the Plasma Grenade. The Type 33 Guided Munitions Launcher, or the Needler, is a Covenant.
I'm gonna cut you off because I figured it out. Give me a second to.
Go for it.
They
Well,
were
I
added to
composed myself.
Anniversary. They were added into Anniversary. They were not
Okay.
in the original game
Gotcha.
because of how Halo 2 they were so popular. They said,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yes. So the Needler, Covenant anti-infantry weapon, pretty much used by most of the races of the Covenant. The Needler is one of the few Covenant weapons which isn't based on reverse engineered Forerunner tech, which is interesting because it's probably the most alien looking gun of the arsenal. thing is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love
its
the melee. Yep, you were
So I was just gonna
the
say.
melee animation.
He like flips it around.
And
and
it's funny how OP the Needler is in pretty much every Halo.
I thought it kind of sucked in like I don't know if it was 2 or 3, but 4 brought it back. It was really good it's
In
really
3,
good in
it's
4.
good, I think.
Is it?
But it kind of in 1 it looks the coolest because the needles are
Yeah.
so fucking
Yep.
like, and then
Yeah.
in Halo 3 it's like wimpy.
wimpy.
And the Type 1, I wonder why they call them types. It's probably I don't know. These are human names for these. I guess just they're categorizing them in a database.
Yeah.
Anti-personnel grenade, more commonly known as the plasma grenade, or if the multiplayer terminology suits you, the sticky grenade.
sticky.
The ones
Yeah.
that take 8 years to blow up and combat
Yeah, and
evolve.
that's insane.
Yeah, so they stick on you and blow up. That if you didn't catch on.
I think if
to
you had
that.
enough time, you could probably pull it off and
But like I guess
put
like
it somewhere else.
I guess the idea would be that they are
They're like
timed.
Semtex.
Well, like but
Right.
how does a Semtex even work?
button.
But like
Yeah,
like,
the
how do you
plasma grenade has a button on
It's
it.
plastic
and you throw
explosives.
It, and then
It's but like how does it stick? Like
The
does
pla-
it
I assume that there's either
Like, does
adhesive
it-
put on it or
that's
I
so,
think it's
like,
part of the tech.
yeah.
like once you it's not sticky until you
Right.
until you press it and then
Maybe you hit the
it's
button.
like a
It
timer.
has a countdown. You throw it,
sorry.
and as you're throwing it,
the stuff comes out
Right.
of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that actually makes more sense.
We
but whereas like
probably have stuff like that today, but
Yeah.
but like now for this, like it's like you probably it's fine. You press the button, you throw it. It has a timer, but as it's going through
Yeah,
the
'cause
air,
it's
it
sticky.
gets
How,
sticky.
how come it doesn't stick to them when they're gonna throw? You know,
Because I think that's
yeah, the button. That's
you press the button. It has like you probably have a few seconds to throw before.
Yeah.
it-
like a regular grenade. I mean,
Exactly.
except you have your hand on the pin, so you pull the pin, and there's a handle, and as soon as you let go of the handle, that's
that
when.
starts cooking it.
Yeah,
Right.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And I guess you got a few seconds. We come out of the cave and we pick up the sniper rifle. We found another downed escape pod. Everyone's dead. And we pick up the system, or the sniper rifle system 99C Series 2 anti-material sniper rifle. This gun is in Halo 1, 2, and Wars. It is not the sniper in
In 3, they
in
changed
3
it.
and 4. Yeah. It saw widespread use during the Battle of Installation 4 and 5, as well as the Battle of Earth. This is a nice trivia fun fact. In Combat Evolved, enemy AIs do not acknowledge the sniper rifle's gunshots if they do not see you. So if you kill an enemy with a sniper, the other enemies will react to the fallen AI, but not search for you as if they would known that you fired. So they just don't react to the fact that you just snipe someone. They react to the fact
They
that
even
you
I think
killed.
they even say that in that mission. They're like if you as long as they don't see you, you don't get shot.
In the
No, it's
E3
probably in
demo-
Truth and Reconciliation. They say
sorry,
because
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the true sniper
Yeah, yeah.
level.
in the E3 demo, it's silent. Like the way he shoots it, it's like all you hear is the sound of it hitting the elites.
Yeah, it would make more
in the
sense if
beginning.
they like silenced them.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not really the good sound for it, but that like even
Insert
that sound
sound
of the
clip
that sound of the sniper is like fucking iconic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So now we're pretty much going around. There are 3 more pods which we can get to. We get into fights. You can either save all the Marines or let them all die. And Cortana, if they die, Cortana goes, they're all dead.
They're all dead.
Like literally, you don't have to save anyone, which is
Yeah.
kind of funny. It's like another one of those things with like these older games, where there's like optional like side stuff that you probably wouldn't know about unless you play it on higher difficulties or like on easy. I saved them all
Absolutely,
easy.
yeah.
But,
Yeah,
did you guys save them all or no?
I killed all of them at one spot.
Oh,
They all died.
so you killed them.
No, I mean I didn't kill. They died.
Oh, are
I
you sure?
I didn't save them. Is I guess what
I-
happened. Like the Covenant
worried
came
about
in and
myself.
I was just more shooting them and I couldn't find them. I guess they found.
Are you positive you didn't lay waste?
I mean,
these
I don't
Marines?
think I could have. Who knows? I mean, the shots were firing. I was on many drugs. Who knows? But
Jesus.
what? Only cocaine.
Master
Relax.
Chief is dosing out.
He just has a
Straight
feed
to-
into
straight
his
to
new
his
idea.
helmet.
Yeah.
Lifted up his helmet,
Yeah.
like does like a line off his.
Did Chief just do a bump? He's just.
Master Chief. I'm trying to do Johnson. Master Chief, you're gonna share with the rest of us?
Get the fuck out of here,
I know
Johnson.
what the ladies like.
Oh god. But yeah, no. Cortana was like, Chief, you let them all die. Belay that order for the, and then she like talks to Fohammer. She's like, belay the order for the transport.
Yeah, that's at the end. And like kind of in between the pods, and I think at the end, she kind of, excuse me, lays out some information.
I'm
True
sorry.
dropped his phone. It's all right. It happens. Cortana eventually informed you that the Covenant secured the crash site of the Autumn and captured Captain Keyes and the crew that was with him. She also, via the BattleNet, which is like the Covenant radio, so to speak, it's how they communicate, discovers Keyes was taken to the cruiser, the Truth and Reconciliation. I love the names of the ships in this game.
Yeah.
They're
No, they're
so
good.
Truth and Reconciliation. I'm like, this is 2001. I hear this name and I'm like, oh, I'm going to Catholic school. Like, I know what reconciliation is. That's a sacrament.
I know what I get it.
Like that's my touchstone.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really cool. Like,
That's funny.
and that's the end.
Yeah,
That's the end.
that's
The end
kinda
of it. Truth and Reconciliation is the third level in the game. The Master Chief and a team of orbital drop shock troopers. Yeah. First time we're seeing these guys, but we're not going to talk about them
I don't
here.
think are they even wearing or like
I don't
ODST
even think
armor? I
they
think
are.
they're
They
just like
look
normal Marines. Yeah.
You would never know.
So you must rescue Captain Keyes, who's being held prisoner aboard the Covenant ship, the Truth and Reconciliation. After boarding the ship using its gravity lift, the Master Chief fights his way through the interior of the Covenant battlecruiser to rescue Captain Keyes and several prisoners from the ship's brig. This is the first level in which hunters, zealots, and stealth Sangheili are encountered.
Also, no pistol on this level.
No.
No pistol at all.
Really?
Yeah, you can't find it. You can find that. Oddly enough, you can like if you look down, you can see clips for it, but you can't find the pistol.
Really?
Yeah, I remember you didn't. I didn't get it.
So, the Truth and Reconciliation was a Covenant Ket pattern CC class battlecruiser in the fleet of Particular Justice. Its shipmaster was Lat Rava Me. Like again, the names. Like,
Yeah.
let's fucking go, dude.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
what's he?
How fucking cool does that sound?
Is that what was it? The fleet called?
Particular Justice.
Yeah,
they say
that's
this.
fucking
They say
badass.
this name a few times.
Particular Justice.
So the Truth and Reconciliation served within the fleet of Particular Justice during the fall of Reach in the summer of 2552. When the UNSC Pillar of Autumn fled to Reach, Supreme Commander Thel Vadamy, keep that in the back of your head, Thel Vadamy ordered the Truth and Reconciliation among several other Covenant vessels to pursue the human warship. The Covenant's forces arrived at Halo Installation 4 well in advance of the Pillar of Autumn. And the Battle of Installation 4 ensues. So, yeah, really remember Thel Vadamy. We will get back to him. So, yeah, this is our first, sniper level. How do you guys like the first sniper level?
It's fine.
Cool.
I know, yeah, I don't know.
No,
Like it definitely brings me back to I remember playing that level and being like, ooh, this is cool. Like
Yeah,
that
the
first
music really
introduction,
gets you in the
Yeah.
vibe.
that first introduction
nighttime.
of the sniper rifle is really cool.
Night vision. You can put night vision on through the scope.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean a lot
you're
of
good.
fun, interesting stuff. Again, nothing crazy. I mean, I think the most memorable part of that first part of this level is the hunters when they
Yeah.
come in.
Yeah, we'll get to
First time seeing the hunters.
Yeah, so before we get to the hunters, we're fighting through, we're sniping. You can do some stealth. I think you are forced into combat a few parts. That first initial part, though, there's an achievement you can stealth that whole part. But I think
Like
everything
the very beginning, or like that entire first section.
that beginning part with the shade in the
Okay.
back, like as soon as you go around, I think you have to get into combat after
Yeah, there's
that.
enemies right there. There's grunts, I think, that are right around the corner.
Yeah. So this is the first time we run into the shade. The Type 29 anti-infantry stationary gun is an anti-infantry shade turret. It fires 3 simultaneous slow-moving bolts, of high-powered plasma, surrounded by magnetic fields in a triangular pattern. These bolts are somewhat inaccurate at long ranges. The shade hovers on an anti-gravity mount, giving it 360-degree field of fire. We'll see the shade in a few different versions throughout the series. We also pick up the active camouflage here.
I used to call them triangles and circles.
Yeah.
Overshields and
Really?
yeah, triangles and circles.
Found a triangle.
yeah, the triangle.
Oh, that makes total sense.
So this refers to various light-bending technologies both the UNSC and Covenant have developed. Most commonly, the term is applied to Forerunner-developed cloaking equipment that is generally stored in small, deliberately fragile containers. So, pickups. And next, we kind of fight our way forward, and we get to the grav lift to go up to the Truth and Reconciliation. We fight a group there, and then we find, for the first time, the Hunters. Or the
Let me try. Let me say
the M word.
the M word. The see, I think that M might be silent.
Okay.
The Galgolo.
Lekgolo?
The Makolo?
No,
I don't even
so,
know.
The Lekgolo, I think, is like all the worms together.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Mekgolo, commonly known as hunters, are are unique gestalt of smaller creatures known as Lekgolo, which are orange worm-like creatures. Lekgogo were known to come to group together and form
Yeah.
Have fun.
Coca-Cola, whatever, for protection during combat. During its form, it has increased strength, but at cost of maneuverability. When grouped together, the intelligence of the Gelkogo colony is increased with every additional Lekolo. So they're worms, and
They all make. It's funny, I didn't know that.
they make a body in
Yeah.
armor.
Wow,
Weird, right?
that is
Yeah,
weird.
it is very strange.
That's crazy.
But kind of cool.
It's kind of cool, but it's not something I could have ever noticed from like.
Yeah, you
like,
really have to like get up close
Yeah.
and
When the Covenant discovered the Hunter's homeworld of Te, they intended on mining its riches, but faced heavy resistance from the race. Their physiology. Wow. Trio.
physiology.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Their physiology gave them a tremendous and unexpected advantage in combat, halting the Covenant's advance and killing an Arbiter. We'll talk about Arbiters later. The Covenant were further infuriated by the Lekolo's destruction of Forerunner artifacts during their routine feedings. In ground combat, they were mostly victorious against the Sangheli. The Covenant was forced to rely on orbital bombardment against them, and they had little defense to save themselves. So to save themselves from extinction, they joined the Covenant, and this is called the taming of the Lekgogo.
Wow.
that's really cool.
That's
That is kinda
crazy.
cool.
They fucking try to. Yeah, it's interesting. So again, there's more like animosity between these races. Like the Covenant were literally
Don't
gonna wipe these
necessarily.
guys out.
Yeah, people in the Covenant don't necessarily want to be there,
Yeah.
or like don't even like necessarily love the idea. Like they're just kind of.
And clearly, the Hunters don't necessarily line up with the Covenant goals. I know we don't know them yet, but the Covenant goals is essentially to secure Forerunner tech and the Halo rings. And I guess they want to use them. I think they do. They definitely want them. I'm not sure if they exactly want to use them, but they're wrong about what they're actually used for, which we'll talk about.
Gotcha.
So Hunters are the strongest and most resilient species within the Covenant army.
No, they're not. No, they're not. We
do you
know
mean?
why.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we know why.
A typical hunter usually stands between 12 feet and 13 feet.
That's wild because they're definitely
Way smaller
Yeah, they're way
than this.
smaller, shrunk
Especially,
down.
Yeah. But so they crouch. So they're that
I was gonna
tall.
say they
when
are
they're-
kind of slim.
when they're,
like,
they're that tall when they're
they do
stretched
stand
out,
up
but when they're
straight.
crouched, they're 8 feet.
Okay, that makes a little more sense.
When it's in
more sense, yeah.
when it's in
because you're
combat
kind of they're
state.
like the same height as Master Chief almost.
So a hunter can become larger than a standard issue Covenant Wraith. That's fucking nuts.
what?
enough-
They
like
are
worms.
big in the later games.
Yeah,
Like
don't
you
they
definitely
stand up
see the
straight?
size.
And that's like there's
That's their
there's
when they're
sometimes
the
when they stand
biggest.
up straight.
Yeah. Unlike most Covenant forces, hunters do not seem to possess a visible rank and are almost always seen wearing exactly the same blue armor. So we get a cutscene, we grav lift up into the Truth and Reconciliation, and there's the Marines are like, wow.
Yeah, and then they all get slaughtered. You could get
What
destroyed here.
are the I'm trying to think
fucked.
of what do the Marines say when you get up there?
Oh, they say something about that. There's like no,
like, "There's no one here.
There's no
What's
sign.
going
I have it
on?"
written down. They say there's no sign of enemy life.
And that's when you hit the invisibility elites, right?
Cortana says it.
Maybe no one's home. I think
There are
is
not
what
any. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Nobody's home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe no one's
I
home.
love how I
That's
just
it.
like pulled that out of my like memory bank. Like, so this is the first time we run into the stealth miner, and also a zealot later. So
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about them both. The stealth miner is just exactly what it is. A stealth miner with an energy sword. But since we don't pick up the energy sword in this game at all, even though it's in it, I'm not
That's
going to
funny.
talk about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that the energy sword is in this
Yeah,
game.
I forgot. I do remember, like, as I was playing it, I was like, oh, you can't pick it up.
Yeah.
That is something I did, like, subconsciously remember.
So, later in this level, we do encounter a zealot. The Sangheli zealot is a high-ranking Covenant Sangheli who is charged with the recovery of Forerunner artifacts. Unparalleled among the Covenant for their skill at arms, zealots will stop at nothing, not even the eradication of heretical species, in order to recover these holy artifacts. So, they fucking,
they're there for it.
right,
Yeah,
they're
100% committed.
dedicated. And that's what zealot means. Zealot is
Yeah, you're
somebody
a zealot,
who's
yeah.
fanatical.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
While some zealots are strictly deployed to non-combat fleets or field command outposts, they often operate on the front lines and possess considerable battlefield experience, having killed countless enemies of the Covenant before obtaining their post. As members of the Ministry of Fervent Intercession.
The Covenant.
Fervent Intercession.
Man,
like,
the Covenant.
so cool. True zealots form the razor's edge of any significant Covenant military operation. Zealot squads are tasked with the location and analysis of any information which might lead to a reliquary site. Once located, they are then charged with its recovery, typically through apostolic. It's apostle, but alec at the end of it. Apostolic? Is that how you say that?
Apostolic?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Apostolic intervention by force, though no measure is considered too extreme. They wear different number of armor iterations from gold to red, which are highly advanced with advanced shielding tech and improved protection. So,
Aren't they gold in the base game? Or like without the...
yeah, they're
Well, maybe there's a...
they're red in this one.
yeah, I know. Isn't there a gold one in the
Reach?
next mission? Sound Cartographer? The one that like shuts the door?
Yes.
Yeah, he's gold.
Yeah, he gets a cutscene. He's cool.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the level. We're going through the Truth and Reconciliation. We eventually get to Keys.
Yeah.
We go through this whole fucking ship. We kill everyone.
We kill everyone, then we
Master Chief's force is unrivaled.
we get keys. We get back to the drop ships back in the hangar,
Yeah,
and then bing bang boom.
right. We
He
assume
runs over some
Yeah.
hunters and they
we
get out of there.
escape via spirit, but we also before that we also learned that the Covenant believe that Halo is a weapon. They are looking for its control room, which sets up the next level.
Yeah,
Assault.
Captain Keyes overheard them talking, which is weird. Do they? I guess he knows Sangheili, or does he? I see. I don't.
Good point.
Yeah, he must.
Good fucking
Yeah.
point.
Or they just, what if they meant to do that? They
Elites
meant-
do eventually speak English,
yeah.
and that is a thing. Like they do, like grunts speak English. I'm trying to think. Yeah, the grunts speak English.
Aren't they speaking English in like the game?
Yeah,
right
don't
before?
you-
Yeah,
Oh,
but that's like
yeah,
that's like canon. Like
Yeah.
they do learn how to speak English. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
but
how.
you'd think that they'd speak in Sangheili around the prisoners.
Yeah. Like I don't think they would. Just
Might
speak-
honestly, it's probably just like like they didn't think about it. They were in the narrative room and they were like, "Sir, what? How would he overhear the aliens speaking in the alien
Get this
language?"
guy out of here.
and the,
Get him out.
and
Listen,
the name
guy,
of this
yeah.
control room is apparently called the Silent Cartographer. Another fucking sick
Awesome name.
There's one line that Key says, which I found very interesting. He's like, "Quit your belly aching, soldier. Remember, you're a leatherneck." Do you know what a
yeah.
leatherneck is?
Wasn't that like slang?
It's slang for like a veteran soldier, I think. I'm pretty sure, like somebody with combat experience. But when I think the first time I heard that, I was like, "The fuck does that?"
Is that like
Yeah.
like sounds like a
"Quit your
derogatory.
belly aching, soldier"?
I've never heard leatherneck.
Interesting. Well, I think that about does it for this re3. Gentlemen, thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you all so much for listening. You can find this podcast everywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network. We are on all these social medias as well, at Delco Nerds. You can find our website at www.delconerdnetwork.com. We post some fun stuff there. You can just check out our podcast and stuff there, as well as our email, delconerds@gmail.com. Send us in some, topic ideas if you just want to chat with us. It's always a fun time. We also have a very fun Discord channel server. It's a lot of cool people in there,
Yeah.
a lot of fun
Yeah, I'm there.
conversations.
It's real cool.
Gooch is there.
Yeah, I guess.
Chris is there.
Chris
too.
is
I'm
there.
there, yeah,
I
yeah.
am there. Definitely come hang
Lot
out.
of
It's a
cool
lot of fun. A lot of cool people. But yeah, thanks so much, guys. For Gooch, for Chris, I've been Trio. Thanks for listening. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.